Welcome, everyone. I'm happy that you agreed to join us virtually. This has the potential of being a fairly quick meeting, and we thought it would be best if we just ran in this format. So I'd like to call the meeting to order. Since we're in a virtual setting, we will dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance. Save that for next time. And I would like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented and to add any items introduced by unanimous vote.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Carm, thanks. Do we have any items that anyone would like to suggest for addition to the agenda? Okay, there being none, all those in favor of approval of the agenda, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? I'm not seeing any members of the public who are in attendance to our meeting, so we will dispense with any comments from the floor, and we'll go to the item on our agenda, which is the approval of board minutes. And it is recommended that the board approve the board minutes for October 27, 2021, the regular board meeting, and November 4, 2021, which was a special board meeting. May I have a motion, please?
I'll move that. I'll second Karen.
Okay. Do we have any additions or corrections to the board minutes? All those in favor of approval, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, now we're up to our board reports, and Dave, I'll turn it over to you to manage us through that.
So through the remainder of the agenda up there, just the typical business items that we're going to do with personnel and school or regular business items. Jay and Aaron, I asked them just to kind of do a touch base with you, kind of some abbreviated reports of what's coming and what's been going on. I think Jay just has a couple things for you, and then we'll let Aaron talk, and then I wanted to speak with you about Mohawk Sacandaga School Boards Association.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So I just want to mention that starting next month at December's meeting, we'll begin with our program presentations. So on December 21st, we'll have CTE. January 26th will be PTech. February 16th will be Adult Literacy and Corrections. March 30th will be ADK. April 27th will be Instructional Services, and Special Education will be on May 25th. So we look forward to our programs presenting and sharing information with you at those meetings. I'm all set, Dave. Thank you.
Thanks. And we were kind of intentional with instructional services going later in the year. If you recall, that was kind of a goal area for growth this year. Continues to grow. I think we're up to 6 coaches from 2, and kind of putting pressure on ourselves to continue to deliver so that we can hopefully report out to you all of the commitments that we're going to have for next year that helps us to maintain that. So turn it over to Aaron.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Just a couple of quick updates for our ELC grant. We're, as you know, up full and running for our screening testing. We're in the process right now of procuring some PCR test machines to be able to do some diagnostic testing. So to move beyond just screening testing and offer diagnostic testing to students and families. And then the next phase of that will be to get that up and running, hopefully before the holiday break. We think we're on a good trajectory to be able to do that. And then the next piece is just an update about regional transportation service. We continue to struggle with staffing levels. That's something that I think we're seeing now more and more, not just in our area, but across the state and the nation. We're in that same boat as we were before of adding one, losing one. I think it's going to continue to be a challenge that we're going to continue to hopefully recruit and add folks to it, because really the biggest solution for us at this point is additional drivers. But we're working hard to continue to meet the level of service for districts. And those are my 2 quick updates.
Any questions for Aaron or Jay?
I don't have a question, but I do want to make a comment that directed particularly to Aaron and to Aaron Flynn. We know how extremely difficult it has been, both with, the grant and its implications in this time of COVID, and how that's rolled out with our bus fleet. And I know that in talking with Dave, how much time the 2 of you are putting in above and beyond the workday. So just on behalf of the board, want to be sure to let you know that we appreciate this, Aaron. And, we're looking forward to the time when, this is behind us and you won't be spending all of your time as dealing with COVID and bus drivers. But thanks for all you're doing. It's important at this time, and I know it's time consuming and difficult, but we do notice.
Thank you, Dr. Brooks. It would be great if it was spent on instruction. That's where our time needs to be.
It is. We'll get there.
All right. So just had a quick slide to share with you. The updates that I gave you. I said it was kind of slow going, securing Dr. Eversley Bradwell for our session with school board leaders. Good news is Sean and I did connect a couple of times last week, and more good news was he thought this would be a better discussion in person and was willing to travel to the region. So we have arrived at the 16th of December. I know we were targeting the week prior to, but Sean was not available. I think that that was the start of exams at Ithaca College, and he wasn't comfortable traveling that week or even committing to something. So it'll be a pretty interesting time for us. I mean, I will be hearing from him at the DS meeting on November 30th, I think, and then he'll be joining us for this series, first in the series of our Mohawk Sacandaga board development activities. What we arrived at was just a very straightforward name, understanding equity and education, this for leaders, for our board leadership and superintendents. And I just made a mental note to myself for the core beliefs. I really think that this connects to the core beliefs that we came up with, and I just changed the color to red, where I think that this work of the Mohawk Sacandaga school boards, particularly around this topic, really connects to all of these areas in red that we have identified as the core beliefs of our organization. We spent a great deal of time honing these core beliefs and our mission and vision. And I think that putting them on the screen once a month is probably a good idea, tying us back to the work that we did for ensuring that we're meeting the goals of the organization and the philosophy behind the work that we do. So I think that this is going to be a terrific opportunity for the region. It's probably not going to be an easy discussion, but that's not what we're anticipating. Anyhow, I want to share with you the flyer that we have created as a draft, and it's ready for me to share with the superintendents, and then we can send out on behalf of the board. So Craig Clark did a nice job with this, and we borrowed some things from the Ithaca College website to describe Dr. Eversley Bradwell. But again, we referred to it as a board leadership series. sponsored by the Mohawk Sacandaga School Board Association. And we feel like we're able to put 3 people at a round table from each school district, being the superintendent and 2 members of the Board of Education, strongly suggesting to the superintendents tomorrow during our meeting that one of those people be their board president. Then we pulled and pared down Sean's bio from the Ithaca College website and thought it would be a good idea to lead with his connection to our region. I won't read it out loud to you, but there's Sean's educational background, the work that he's done in both for-profit and public schools and now higher ed, and also his role as a 5th-term Board of Education member on the Ithaca City School District's Board of Education. So I can shoot this out in an email to you as well. And, you know, I think it is going to be a worthwhile evening, and it's dawning on me with the limits to the numbers, if it doesn't make sense for us to also, and I'll run this by Sean, perhaps we can also either record this or make it available as a Zoom, where people that aren't actually in the room can at least be a part of it. But I don't know. First of all, I guess I showed you the flyer to get your impressions. Any thumbs up, thumbs down to what we've created?
Hey, Dave, I think just the invitation to board members and let the superintendents take the lead on encouraging officers. You know, I don't know. I just think that officers might turn people the wrong way on some boards.
Okay, let me just share with you the thought process there. You know, when we called it a leadership series is where that came in, and the fact that we just don't think we can put it out there to the whole board. So it's that 2 board members can come. I mean, we can make that adjustment, saying we're inviting 2 representatives from each board.
Yeah, I think if you do 2 representatives and let the superintendent take the lead on getting his leadership there, you know, because, you know, you don't want to have somebody discouraged not to come because they're not a board member if there's only 1 coming. Say the president comes and then no other officer wants to go.
Let me just go back. Can I put that back up, Matt, for a second?
It says Board of Education officers,
Okay,
you know, Board of Education members, and have the
That's fine.
superintendents maybe take the lead in it, you
yeah,
know.
we can make that change. That's easy.
Anybody else have any thoughts?
No, I do think that's a good suggestion. And you would hope that the president would be someone who does represent the entire board, but it's not always the case. So I agree, Matt, leaving it open, let the superintendents decide who's the real leadership on board, and not have seats go vacant just because the leadership may choose not to go.
So that's an easy edit. We'll make that change. I don't see any disagreement from the rest of the board. As far as the manner, I mean, I can share this with the superintendents. Harry and Jean, we had discussed, though, the idea that this would come from the board as well. Do you think perhaps we can change that language in the invitation to 2 board members? But would you, the 2 of you, like to in addition to me giving it to the superintendent, email it from you to their Board of Education accounts?
Sure. I
Jean,
think
you're
that's a good
muted, Jean.
idea, Dave.
You hear
There
me
you go.
now? Can
Yep.
you- Yeah, I think it would be good because we're reaching out to the people we want there and we're each doing it as two different groups, and it makes it a little bit more personal perhaps. I think it's a good idea.
Now I forgot to unmute. So Christine we can either have her send you the invitation or email those board presidents on your behalf.
I think that's a good way to get everything out at the same
I
time.
would say,
You okay if we have Christine
yeah,
email
I
on
would
your
say to
behalf?
have Christine. Yes,
Okay. All right. And that is my report.
okay, thanks, Dave. So if there comes a time where you can't hear me, Dave, would you let me know? Because my internet is telling me it's getting a little crazy. Can you hear me now, Dave?
Yeah, you're fading in and out, Harry. Maybe turning off your video might help your bandwidth a little bit.
Okay, we'll try that. And if it breaks up too much, just stop me and I'll call in, okay?
It's better already.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda, it's no good now?
No, it's better. It's better.
Oh, great. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the personnel items. And as we start that, I want to just remind the board, months ago, we had decided to use a consent agenda on a portion of our meeting to streamline the meeting and make it possible for more of the presentation times like Jay was describing in our upcoming meetings. However, we want to be sure that the board feels comfortable if you have questions about personnel. If there's any personnel item, on the list of consent items that you want to discuss more fully, we can table that item and go into executive session. So don't feel that your ability to discuss individual personnel matters is being abandoned by us, doing our consent agenda. That being said, under personnel, it's recommended that the board accept the following personnel actions as designated in items A through F on the materials provided to the board. May I have a motion, please?
Matt, so moved.
Okay, Matt. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Do we have any items that are listed in personnel that any board member needs to discuss in an executive session? Okay, all those in favor of approving personnel items A through F as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Or those motions. Item number 9 begins our routine business matters. And the first item of business is the claim auditor's reports. And it is recommended that the board approve the claim auditor reports for the periods of October 1, 2021 to October 1, 2021 and October 6, 2021 through October 29 through 2021. Appears there's a date issue there, Kathy. I'm not sure as I was reading it, but anyway, may we have a motion to approve those auditor reports, please?
So move.
Carm, and a second, please.
Second,
Does anyone have any questions of Kathy regarding either of those?
There are 2 reports. One was dated just October 1st. It was one check that we needed to run for the ELC grant. So it was just written in the agenda as 10-1 to 10-1, but it's a report just for the 10-1.
Okay, so the dates are right then as presented, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. So the next item is the treasurer's report, and it is recommended that the board approve the treasurer's report for the period of September 1, 2021 through September 30, 2021. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Thanks, Jane. And a second?
I'll second.
I saw Zig.
Kathy? Do we have any questions of Kathy Lewis regarding the treasurer's report for this month? Okay, there being none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. The next item is a recommendation that the board approve an item for salvage as listed in the Chief Financial Officer's memorandum dated October 28th, 2021. Motion, please.
Salvage, you know it's me.
Okay, Carm. Can we send this stuff over to your house as long as you're always making the motion? Can we have a second, please?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about what we're doing with this fine piece of equipment? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? That motion carries. The next item is usually one that we're happy to accept, and that is the recommendation for the acceptance of grant monies. It is recommended that the board accept the following grant funds and authorize their suitable appropriation and expenditure pursuant to State Education Department and/or local approvals. And those grants are a Title II grant for adult education and literacy in the amount of $125,000, an adult education and literacy grant in the amount of $125,000, another adult education and literacy grant in the amount of $100,000, an integrated English and civics education grant in the amount of $300,000, a Title II corrections education and other institutionalized education grant in the amount of $250,000, and a Perkins basic grant in the amount of $200,157. May I have a motion to accept these monies, please?
I'll move that.
John? May we have a second, please?
Second.
Becky, I think, was making that. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor of accepting these grant funds as proposed, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Under new business, we have a first reading of a revised policy, and it's recommended that the board accept the first reading of the revised policy number 6202, fingerprinting and criminal history record checks for prospective employees. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Dean, in a second, please.
I'll second it.
How you doing there, Harry?
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. We're now down to board member reports and comments. Do we have anyone who wants to share anything tonight? Okay, our future meetings on December 16, which is a Thursday, will be the Mohawk Sacandaga HFM BOCES conference located at the HFM BOCES Conference Center, as Dr. Ziskin had described for us. And on December 21st is our regular meeting held at 5 p.m. in our BOCES boardroom.
The December 16th meeting is, we will be there at 3 p.m. Is that correct?
I think it's at 6 p.m.
I know, but are we supposed to? No, never mind, you're right. I'm thinking of something different. Okay. Question answered.
Okay. Anyone have anything else to bring before the board before we adjourn?
I think it was fun to try this Zoom meeting. Almost forgot about it.
Yeah, well, if anyone brought home their BOCES provided Chromebook, you would find out that you cannot connect it up. You've got great security on those things, Dave.
I will
So I-
pass that along. Although I
So
see
I-
Zig on hers or no? No,
Yeah, we
We
gotta
will,
check that out. She's on mute though.
Christine can pass that along to Cardin that we've got a little work to do there.
Yeah, so I'm struggling through with this other device, which is has a little problem with transmitting, but we got by. So if there's nothing else to come before the board, then I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
John, okay, and a second.
Zig,
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Have a good night, everyone. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Be good.
thanks, everyone.